What a great day it is. Man, it's been too long.
How long's it been?
That's what I mean. It's been too long. We came through a spring and we got through April 19th. We got a yes vote. The schools are cruising. What's with your hat though, man?
So I had to give my guys at Geo some love. Billy and Jason Milo, Billy Dawson. So they came yesterday to look at the turf. We've had it a couple months now. So they do a GMAX thing where they go through it. It's way above my education, but they were there. They brought me a hat, and I told them, hey, man, I love it, so I'm going to have to wear it on my coach's show. So I shout out to Geo, to Billy, and Jason Milo, Billy Dawson.
Well, we're talking about those guys. I was hearing yesterday some stuff happening over at the baseball fields as well. I mean, right now we've got some temporary stuff through the spring. We had to do that. Tell us about that. Give us an update.
So we're going to have this summer, we're going to bring in our new stands, which are state-of-the-art, which are going to be totally beautiful. That was on the bond as well. And we're looking at trying to get some more turf around the field and all of our facilities, trying to make them as nice as we can for all of our athletes, baseball and softball and everywhere else. The great people at Geo have been great to work with and got a great partnership.
Well, Dax, it has been since day one. You've wanted only the best for our Shawnee athletes, but also we've hosted a few tournaments that have brought thousands of tourists into our town right over there at the baseball field, even the way that it is now.
Yeah, I'll tell you, last year not having it here for the first time in 30 plus years, it was a big, detriment to our town. It was a big detriment to the OSSA. If you talk to Grant Gower and the people there, they were so glad to have it back in Shawnee. And not just because of us, but because Shawnee is a baseball town. You have a lot of people that care about it. That tournament is tradition here. And you got people like, Kerry Wilson and Coach Schaefer and Coach Boyer and all these guys that can jump on a drag and flip a field and get the tarp out. And, just everybody involved has a baseball background. And the way we run that tournament all the way up to the press box, it's just, it was a first-class event, and we are really glad to have it back here in Shawnee. It was great for the community, obviously, too.
Well, Dax, you talk about baseball lineage here, and of course, Dax, Leone, is baseball lineage from here as well. Went from high school into college ball, played D1 for a school that I wish he'd quit mentioning to me on text, that's for sure. But it was one of the best baseball programs in the world at that time for the kids your age.
Yep.
And, 3 of our last 4 athletic directors as well have come from the Coach Schaefer lineage. And I want to ask about that. Baseball, but sports in general, athletics in general. And having somebody like Coach Schaefer young in your life, how did that shape you as a high schooler to go on for the success that you've enjoyed and the success that you've been able to turn around and now bring back to our community?
Probably at the time you don't realize it because you're so disciplined, so structured, and the way he ran things, you either got on board or got off. And once you learned that obviously he was just trying to make you a man first and a baseball player second, I've taken a lot of that from him and obviously all of my coaches, but he just has a way with people. He has a way with discipline and just accountability that makes you want to play for a guy like that. And bringing him back in was just a huge feather in our cap. But all of my accomplishments and I've said it before, a lot of I learned right here at Shawnee High School. And he was a big part of that. Coach Fluke was a big part of that. Coach Boyer, Coach Banfield. Coach Higgins, Coach Sperry, even though I didn't play football my junior year, they got mad at me. Sorry, coaches. But all those guys were a big impact. And Coach Schaefer's impacted me today. I ask him for advice all the time.
He is definitely one of those that you don't want to let down when you meet him. He's just unassuming, but he has that quiet strength about him. And this year was a very hard year for our baseball squad. We weren't able to get them in. They had a busy season. There was just so much going on throughout the spring. But we want to give a shout out to Coach and the entire baseball team, saying we look forward to maybe picking up with you later in May. But man, having coaches, great coaches, are so important for an athletic department.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. And one of the coaches that we got here today, Coach Jay, who's done a tremendous job with our Trak program, I mean, speaks volumes to her and what she's about. You can go all the way back to, obviously Wendy Wells and Coach L and Coach Madonna and all these other coaches that we have. Coach Stobie, Coach McCune, I'm probably going to leave some people out, but high school athletics has everything to do with your coach and your standards of your program. And I know Shawnee Athletics is about to implement some standards for our athletes that are going to help us for many years to come.
Well, in this season, and today's show is going to be all about 2 things. One, we are going to introduce you to the next great Shawnee coach. That'll come towards the end of the show. Right now, though, we have another state championship for Shawnee to introduce to you. First, we'll talk with the coach, then we'll bring on the champion and some of his mates, also champions in their own right through conference and regional, and we look forward to a great show with you on Dax Leone's Shawnee High School Athletics Coaches Show from right here at Hardesty's.
Where the food is good,
the food is great.
the people are even better.
The people are
It's been a while.
better. We'll be back.
Hi, welcome in. Let's go see Jim.
Elle's Jewelry on Kickapoo. A wide selection of beautiful jewelry in their wonderful showroom waiting for you to shop. Elle's Jewelry, Shawnee's friendly jeweler. Harrison Discount Pharmacy is concerned about our overall well-being. The Labyrinth on St. Gregory's Abbey grounds. If you're stressed, a walk in the Labyrinth may help you feel better. Harrison Discount Pharmacy, a good neighbor pharmacy. It's always a great time. People are pouring in to Hardesty's. Lunchtime here is a madhouse. It's wonderful. You get the best sandwiches in town. Where else do you get another mom sandwich where you say, I want lettuce and tomato, and they laugh at you? Because there is none of that here at Hardesty's. This is meat, Coach Jay.
Sounds good.
Dax, introduce us to this wonderful coach.
Yeah.
Bringing home state champion. We're excited.
Yeah, Coach Jaylin Stapelton. Coach Jay, as we call her, she's done a tremendous job with our track program. She's also coached volleyball with us. She's also coached a little bit of basketball. She ran track and played basketball at Barton County up in Kansas. Came and played basketball here at OBU. And she actually, funny story, Julia had met her at the surf bar when she was working in college, and she actually applied for our secretary's job.
Oh, wow.
And so when we interviewed her, she left. I said, Coach, she's way too. We need to get her coaching. She's got a big time athletics background, and so we talked to her. Now she teaches 6th grade science at the middle school and does a tremendous job. And I know Keely and Hannah and Levi are. She's at the top of the list, so she's done a great job with our track program. So we're excited to keep her in Shawnee.
Coach Jay, I have just a couple of questions for you to start things off. First of all, what's the biggest difference that you found? Because you're still young and you're young in your coaching career.
Yes.
What's the biggest difference between being an athlete and being the coach?
My biggest thing when I was an athlete, I never got nervous for myself, so I'm kind of a control freak. So when my athletes are doing stuff, I get way more nervous for them because I want them to do the best, and I have no say or no help for them in the state championship. So.
Well, it sounds to me like you were a well-rounded athlete growing up all the way through your JUCO career. How important do you think that is for kids to be playing multiple sports?
I think it's really important. I think it helps them in all aspects, not just athletically, but also getting used to different coaches, getting used to different environments really helps in the long run.
When she interviewed, though, when she left, I told Julia, I was like her background and pedigree is up here. I said, we need to talk about coaching, and so we did, and it's been a home run. But Coach, my question, it's funny you said that because I was the same way. I never got nervous as a player. Now, as an athletic director, I'm even more nervous for our coaches and our kids because I want them to have as much success as we can. But talk about the track program, because when you took over, we kind of went through a couple of different coaches the last couple of years, but how did you put your own ownership and your own touch and kind of what you're trying to build with our track brand?
Right, yeah. I had the privilege of having a great high school coach. He came in and took over my sophomore year, and it was very by the book. We were doing everything exactly that he wanted us to do. And so last year I came in pretty late, came in around February, and it was kind of just do it kind of how it was last year. And so this year, setting those rules, setting those guidelines was really helpful. And I have great senior, junior leadership that they come in, they run practice almost before I even get there, and that's awesome. So
Awesome.
Yeah, talk a little bit about your kids, because that's really the heart of whether or not we get champions or not. You setting the tone with the discipline and making sure the structure's in place. But talk about the kids, maybe differences between when you were growing up and the kids you coach now, or the how it's all similar.
Right, yeah. I've had a couple of kids that we've struggled with. A couple of them that went to state at the beginning of the year, we had to have those hard conversations of my expectations, but also proving to them that I care about them. them. I want the best for them in the track. I want the best for them outside of track too. So.
And when we talk about our kids in Shawnee, we're talking about guys who really get after it. I mean, Dax, how many state titles just this year do we have coming in? I mean, we've had a bunch of state titles coming through the classrooms.
Yeah, we have. We've had a lot. I mean, obviously our swim team. And, yeah, you kind of put me on the spot there, Coach.
Yeah, I did. It'll hit you. But
state
titles are nothing new for Shawnee. And for you to come in as a coach and revitalize, it's been a while since we've had some track success that way.
Yeah, it has. And traditionally, we've had a really good track and cross-country program all the way back to when Coach Reed was here back when I was in high school. Natalie Mann, who ran Baylor University. But I see Coach out there with the boys and the girls out there. And she runs a tight ship, but she also knows what she's talking about. And kids, I say this all the time, kids aren't dumb. They know. They want discipline. They want that structure, and Coach gives that to them. So, Coach, are there days sometimes you're out there like, oh my gosh, this kid's not listening? Or is there days out there when they do something great and you're like, this is the best thing ever? Is it kind of a high-low profession a little bit?
Oh, for sure. And it definitely, like, we started, and it was definitely a rocky ship last year. Coming in brand new, I had to get the kids to be able to trust me. But then things like winning a state title, our pole vaulter Keifer, he wins state, and it just makes it all so worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel it just hearing it. Keifer, we're going to talk to. Isaiah's come in. We have some other teammates that are going to come in. We're happy to have you guys here at Hardesty's. Coach, when you have coaches like this, it creates winning environments throughout the hall. Yeah. And, Coach, I'd like for you to tell some of those young tracksters who just ran that Little Olympics why they want to come and run track for you at Shawnee High School.
For sure, yeah. I teach 6th grade, so a lot of my 6th graders I was actually at Little Olympics with. And I actually have my 6th graders write my state kids' notes. So they got awesome. Real into it. And I heard one of my track kids say, like, that's their favorite part, is reading things from the little kids who don't even know who they are. But they're so into it. And Monday when I got back, they were asking, how did Keifer do at state? How did Aiden do? I mean, they're already so bought into it. And just knowing that they're going to come, they're going to have people who care about them and want the best for them. So.
That is awesome, Coach.
Pretty good. I think we'll probably go to break on that one, Coach.
We're at Hardesty's. Come on down, get lunch. It's inexpensive, $5.50, $6. You get food, meaning a sandwich like Mama used to make with no vegetables.
Barbecue sandwich today on the special.
And I'm having beans. So you never know what you're going to have at Hardesty's, where the people are great. And no.
The food is good.
No, the food is great.
The people are even better.
Hey, Jay, say this. Where the food is great and the people are even better.
Where the food is great and the people are even better.
We just need help.
That's state championship coach right there.
At McElroy and Owens Funeral Group, your loved one never leaves our care. From your first phone call at the time of loss through final resting, we are with you. Stop by McElroy and Owens for a visit today. Hardesty Market in Deli, a real butcher shop for over 80 years. Daily lunch specials just like Mom used to make. Best cuts of meat and even better people. Your family at Hardesty Market in Deli. For 25 years, Eric's has served you and your family for all your prescription needs. Eric and his staff love the community and love seeing you in the store conveniently located on North Kickapoo. Make your day brighter by visiting Eric's today.
We are back at Hardesty's Market and Deli, where the food is great and the people are even better. And I've got greater than great people with us now. This is Isaiah Smith, this is Avery Holmes, and Keifer Landis. And the senior in this bunch is Avery Holmes. Avery, talk to us a little bit about Coach Jay. What do you think sets Coach Jay apart from some of the previous coaches that you've had?
I think that she just tries really, really hard, and she holds us to a higher expectation than our other coaches have in the past. And she's just always there for us whenever we need her.
Keifer, tell me about Coach Jay.
I think she's an amazing coach. She's helped me get through a lot of stuff mentally through last year's regionals and has helped me get in a better place through track and mentally.
Isaiah, what about Coach Jay?
I really think she just cares a lot about us and how we develop throughout our careers and everything.
Avery, this year in your work with Coach Jay, you've been able to perform pretty well. You set a school record. What is that school record throw that you set?
I threw 37 feet and 8 inches, and the pass record that I broke was 36 feet and 2 inches.
And coming into the season, did you have that kind of expectation for yourself, or did you kind of work up to it through the season and realize that greatness was at hand?
At the very beginning of the season, I didn't think I was going to do very well because I didn't realize that I was throwing a men's shot put, so I wasn't throwing as far. But as the season progressed and I started throwing more and PRing at more meets, I kind of set that expectation where I was like, I'm going to break the record today.
So you were training with a man's shot put. I'm not familiar with the shot put. Does that mean it's heavier and bigger? Is it kind of like a basketball deal?
Yeah, so the woman's shot put is about 9 pounds, while the male shot put is 12 pounds.
Wow, that sounds like a new training regimen for the girls.
It would help them a lot.
Of course, we're going to miss Avery. She is a graduating senior from Shawnee High School. But Isaiah, you're coming back next year.
Yes, sir.
This year, you kind of did the same thing in the sense of you run distance. So let's first talk about cross country. What draws you to the distance running in the fall?
I'm just kind of good at it. So like since I was in middle school, I just kind of been good, and that was like my thing. And it's like it's hard, but it's also kind of like relieving at the same time.
Sure, I've heard a lot of runners talk about distance running being therapy. It's almost as if you have to do it at the end of the day. Do you feel that way? Does it give you space to think?
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like calming for sure.
So coming into this season, of course, you were working hard. You were coming off of a successful cross-country season. You run the 800, which, in my opinion, is one of the hardest events that track offers to a high school athlete because it's really a sprint from start to finish for 2 laps. When do you lose feelings in your legs, Isaiah?
Oh man, after that first lap, it just hits you, and then you just can't feel nothing.
Coming into the season, you're excited about the season. Let's talk about your 4x8 success. You have some teammates you could maybe mention for us and tell us how you did in the 4x800.
Yeah, definitely. Aiden Ringwald was our anchor. He was a demon. He ran a sub 2 minute, like consistently, basically the whole season. Then we have Dietrich Beavers. This is his first year really doing the 800, and he did really good. He came from like a 220 down to a 208, really good. And then we got Connor Brantley, our freshman, who, struggled a little bit, but then he got it down at the end of the year, so right when we needed to.
So is Ringwald a junior as well?
He's a sophomore.
So you have 2 juniors and a sophomore and a freshman returning next year on our 4x8.
Yeah.
How well did you guys do throughout the season?
We got off to a rough start, kind of figuring out who was going to be in it and everything. But like by the end of the season, we kept PRing like meet after meet after meet. And then we made it to state. And, next year, we're just going to do better.
I can believe that. And something that I love to hear about athletes is when they're able to succeed at getting better. And you had some goals for yourself this year. You challenged yourself. Talk about your year personally and some of the things that you're happy that you were able to accomplish.
This year, definitely the PR for the 800. I started out at a 213, and I dropped it down to a 207, so 6 seconds off. It's a big PR. And at high jump, I got to 5'10" finally, almost 6 foot. This close to making it to state, but.
So 6 foot will probably get you into state, so that's going to be a goal for you next year, I guess.
Definitely.
And I guess, because you mentioned about Ringwald, who's a stud, he's sub 200 or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going to get sub 2 minutes next year, Isaiah?
I hope so.
All right. Another young man that we were introduced to in a great way during football season is the young man at the end of our table, Keifer Landis. Keifer, first of all, this year, at least as you're a junior now, in your sophomore year, you did not go out to football. Did you play football as a freshman?
Yes, sir. I transferred from North Oak Creek halfway through my freshman year. I played football there. The reason I didn't play my sophomore year is because I tore my meniscus.
So you love football?
Yes, sir.
Multi-sport athlete?
Yes, sir.
And now a state champion. Keifer, talk to us about being a multi-sport athlete and how that helps you to be a successful athlete in everything that you try to do.
Well, I think about it as each sport helps each other. So the lifting and everything that goes in with football, getting into the contact, it helps you build up a stronger mindset and muscle and speed for me to go be good at pole vault also.
So does Coach Bob McNeil help you in pole vault at all?
Oh, 100%. He helps me get just little tiny things critiqued, like my top end of my vault and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of little intricacy things with different events, and that's something that we love to see, is we have lay coaches that come out and they have excelled in their lifetime, and they help our head coaches, especially in these specialized events like hurdles is a very specialized event, but also pole vault, high jump, very specialized. Keifer, talk to us a little bit about your expectation coming into this year. Were you coming in knowing you would be a state champion?
I did not think I was gonna. I was just hoping I made it to state. I had no clue I was gonna make it all the way to win state champions, to be a state champion. It's an amazing accomplishment for me. I came to the season thinking I just want to keep PRing every meet and just see how far I can take it, and ended up here.
And when you may not know, but PR means personal record. Keifer, if you're pushing yourself to get better in every meet, that's a sign of a champion, I would think. Where does that come from within you?
Well, I've been playing sports since I was a very little kid, starting from soccer, baseball, all of that stuff. And it's just always been in my mindset, I hate losing, so.
That makes it fun. Avery, in your 4 years at Shawnee High School, what are you stepping away with as you step into now the next season of your life as a graduating senior?
Just to keep trying and to keep going. I think that my throwing coach this year, Coach Dollarson, really helped me with that. Taking away things from sports and things from school and moving on to like bigger things into your life. Because from college, I'm not going to be in Oklahoma. I'm going to New York. So he was just helping me realize like what the world is going to look like, and just telling me that I can keep going and keep trying, and as long as I believe it'll happen.
I believe that it will happen if you believe that it'll happen. Tell us a little bit. That's wonderful that you get to go out of state. You're going to New York, and what are you pursuing? Why are you going to New York, and what are you going to do while you're there?
Right. I got accepted into a performing arts school. So I auditioned last summer for acting for film, and I ended up walking away with like a $60K scholarship from my performance. And I'll spend 2 years in New York and 2 years in LA, and I'll get my bachelor's in fine arts.
And then you get to come back and give us your autograph, right?
I'll try.
Please remember us back here in small town. What about you, Isaiah? What do you have working for during the summertime? I know you're a basketball athlete as well. You're going to be running in the fall. How does your summer play out?
Oh, it's just a whole bunch of workouts, training, just for all of the sports. Like workouts to kind of increase my explosiveness for like the court and like jumping and running and everything. So just everything just meshed into one.
Synthesizing together, huh?
Yeah.
What about your next level? Do you have any desire to go on maybe to college and do sports, or do you have something else that you would like to be doing?
If I could go to college to do sports, I definitely want to, but like right now, I'm not really sure what that next step is.
Would you like to go to college? Do you want to pursue a college education?
Definitely, for sure.
All right, Keifer, what about you? Coming into the summer, you're a state champion now. I guess you just sit back because you know you're the best. You don't have to work out anymore, and that's probably what you're thinking, right?
Not at all, sir. Next year I'm coming back for it again. All summer long I have AAU pole vault, which is basically a summer league for pole vaulting, and got to keep up my workouts for football, keep doing that, and I also work as a home health aide.
Well, I'll tell you guys, I'm serious when I say here the food is great and the people are even better, and you guys are some of the greatest. We appreciate you being with us, and thank you all for your hard work and going into the summer, even coming back next year even stronger. And we're so proud of you. We're going to look for you on the silver screen, Avery. All right. We're at Hardesty Meats in Delhi, where the people are great and the food's pretty good too.
For over 50 years, Fred's Tire and Battery has served Central Oklahoma with tires, batteries, and service for cars, trucks, and tractors. Friendly and affordable, with 2 locations in Shawnee. Fred's Tire and Battery, a name you can trust.
It's Sonic Good at all 4 of our Shawnee locations. Great food, great fun, the best hamburgers in town, keeps everybody smiling, parties or gatherings, there's room for everyone. It's always a good time, Sonic good time, at our Shawnee Sonics.
back at Hardesty's where the food is great and the people are even better. And Dax, I'm excited, I know, but you're really excited to introduce this next guest.
Yeah, it was a really lengthy search, and Bryce was at the top of our list from the start. And when did I call you, Bryce? It was like November-ish, somewhere in there.
November, December.
Yeah, and so we started talking a little bit, and they had just had a baby, and then we kind of came back around in April and started talking again. And this is Bryce Clemens, our new head softball coach for fast pitch and also for slow pitch in the spring. So we're really excited to have Bryce, his wife Jessica, and their kids part of our Shawnee family.
We are really excited. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Bryce. Where do you come from, and what do you feel separates the men from the boys or the girls from the women with softball?
Well, I come here from Dale. I've been over there the past 4 years. Prior to that, I was at Jones, mainly in a baseball role, but I did a little bit of softball there as well. You know, I think what separates people on that side of it is, you know, people are wanting to get out there and grind and work at it. My wife, I met her in college. She was All-American at Southeastern, and you know, watching her and how she worked at it. I remember college break, we'd come home, and she'd ask me to go hit her balls on college break, hit pop flies. I mean, so, you know, people that are willing to do that are going to be the people that, you know, separate themselves.
Well, when we hire Bryce, we don't just hire you. It's family in the Shawnee school system. Talk a little bit about your wife and your family, if you don't mind. You have some roots from this area.
Yep. My wife, she is a Bethel graduate, played for Coach Block over at Bethel. Then she went to Southeastern. That's where me and her met. Got married probably 8 years ago. I know she's going to be mad at me for saying probably 8, but I think it's somewhere around there. We have 2 kids. Got a daughter that's going to be 4 this year, and then our son is just over 5 months old, so we're pretty excited about that one.
Well, and you mentioned college break, but then you also threw in All-American, so your wife was pretty good at softball, I guess.
Yeah, she was really good. Yeah.
He married up.
Yeah.
He married
We
up.
all do if it lasts. We all do, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Bryce, I'll just tell you, like, and we were talking before you got here, this search was very lengthy because we wanted to get the right person. I told you I wasn't just going to turn this program over to anybody. And so your stamp of approval, my stamp of approval on this softball program. We've had a lot of good players over the years. Tell the people kind of how you look to build this program. I know we're coming off a tough year, but we got some good young girls. I mean, what are some things that are kind of staples in your program and what people could look for in our Shawnee softball program going forward?
Well, one thing is working at the basics. I mean, if we can be good at the small things, if you do the small things over and over and you do them right, then you're eventually going to be good. I mean, it's instilling that work ethic, character, I mean, how we carry ourselves on the field, you know, how you respond to losing, you know, things like that, it's going to take a while, but it's going to be how we get through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in our area, we have 4, maybe 5 of the best softball programs in their respective classes in the state. And I'm talking like within 20 miles of us, probably within 10 if I get real particular about it. Mm-hmm. So we've got players in this area.
Yep.
What is your job now in rebuilding the player base? As we started the beginning of spring this year, we didn't have enough to make a team without going into the classrooms and saying, hey, we need you for softball, we need you from softball. So you are really starting from the ground up. Mm-hmm. You have to feel good about the space you're in. What's your plan?
I mean, the only way to go is up, and I feel like I have to be approachable as a coach, you know, for kids to want to come play, and even the kids that are at Shawnee. But I know there's a lot of feeder schools around which, you know, have the opportunity to go to these other schools that you're talking about. And, you know, I have to be approachable as a coach, you know, and make our program approachable for them to want to come play.
When you step into your first year, let's talk first year goals and maybe 5-year goals. What does that look like for Coach Clemens?
Well, you know, I've had a long run of going to the state tournaments with, being with these other programs. Obviously, that's, the pinnacle of where you want to be. I'm not, blind to the fact or whatever, though, but, that is a hard thing to achieve, but that is ultimately where our goal is going to be. This year, we want to get out of the bottom of the district. Last year it was, baseline bottom. We want to be up in that, 2-3 spot. And I think that's something that's more achievable this year.
So start off year one, get some success under your belt, and then I heard we want to be at that state tournament, because at that state tournament, that's where you got to be in order to be a state champ.
Yeah. Anything can happen there.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
So.
Softball's a lot like baseball, where you never know. It depends on the pitcher that day. It depends on the weather. It depends on the ball bouncing this way or this way. My whole career was coaching baseball, so I have no hair and gray beard. But what excites me about Bryce, and I'm just gonna brag on him a little bit, is every time I talk to him, he's the same person. He's very humble. He's very smart. I think our girls need some consistency. I think he is going to provide consistency to our girls that maybe we haven't had, over the past few years. And no disrespect to any of our former coaches, but I've said this before, is we've always kind of had a baseball coach coaching softball. Mm-hmm. And this, with Coach Clements coming in here, softball is his bread and butter. It's what he does. He goes to bed, besides thinking about his family, he's trying to think about winning softball games, and he's going to wake up thinking about how to win softball games. So I think the consistency is something that really attracted me to him. The same person, whether we win by 10 or lose by 10, I think our girls are going to get that consistent winner that has a winning mentality. And it's not always about wins and losses on the scoreboard, it's about wins and losses with people. And as those girls develop those characteristics, you're going to see those wins on the field. Yep. And I'll say this too. Dr. Esbolt, myself, Julia, our district, we want to have a successful softball program. And I think Bryce will tell you that was one of the things that attracted him to the job, was our vision of the softball program and where we're going with our program. And so just to piggyback on that, Bryce, last question for me is, I know, like you said, we're probably not going to go to the state tournament right off the bat, but those goals are realistic. What can our girls expect, not just from you, but from our softball program? What are a couple of staples, a couple of pillars that are going to be consistent in your program?
Well, we are going to work every day.
You said that. I like that.
We're going to have something that we're doing every day. We're not taking days off.
Yep.
And
that might scare some girls away, right?
It might.
Because they're not used to that.
And it's going to be a competitive environment. Sometimes you get into situations where you have 12, 13, and they get complacent because they don't think they'll get bench time.
Right.
It's got to be something that's competitive.
Yeah.
To keep them driving.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Something that's new for Shawnee, it'll be new for all of us. It was new for me over the last few years, was not just fast pitch softball, which we're used to here at Shawnee, but we're also going to be bringing in slow pitch softball.
Yep.
How is that going to help you as a program now, playing both, even though it's a different game, fast pitch in the fall and slow pitch in the spring?
I think that slow pitch gives you an opportunity to to get better defensively, which I know if you go watch the game, sometimes you can't even help it. They'll hit 10 home runs and the game will be over. But it does give you really good outfield time, and it gives you a lot of good infield work. Just things that I think you're missing out on by not playing it in the spring. Just waiting, another 7 months till fast pitch season. So I think it's a better opportunity for them to get to play more.
Well, and Coach, defense wins championships.
It does, and you go back to like the last couple of years, we had Annika Anderson, so we weren't playing a lot of defense. She was striking 17 out, and the ball wasn't getting put in play a lot. And so when you do, and Coach has been through this at Dale too, and you got an ace pitcher in fast pitch, the ball's not put in play. Those games are 1-0, last about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And so giving our girls an opportunity to be on the field, practice time, somebody there to care about him in the summer. He always texts me this morning like, hey, when can I get some keys so I can open it up for him so they can come out and start working out? So just having that field time, right? He said it before. You got to take the reps, and you got to have the access to do that. And I think that's something that Bryce is going to provide for our girls. So.
Well, and we talked about it earlier. State championships are nothing new at Shawnee. We get a lot of them.
Yeah.
And that's our goal. That's everybody who's around the program, coach included. I know that's our goal. As we come into the summer, though, talk a little bit about what the girls can anticipate coming through the summer and going into fast pitch season.
Well,
when you get the keys,
Yeah,
as soon
yeah.
as you can get the
Yeah.
keys.
Yeah. Structure-wise, I gave them some open nights that, we're going to have the field open, just to be able to come hit, take ground balls, fly balls, things like that. July 15th is the start date for the official start practice date. We're not going to start July 15th. We're going to start about a week later, just because it is a long season. I mean, you're 5A's going to the second week of October. So, I don't want to wear them out from July 15th to August 13th, which is the first game. So, a month of practice can wear them out. But they're going to have a good, solid 2 weeks of practice right there leading up before that first game that, hopefully we'll be ready for. I believe it's Durant at home, which is a district game.
That'll be a lot of fun
yeah.
to watch. Hopefully we'll be there and bring it to you live. Coach, we love it because there are a lot of feeder schools around Shawnee, and I want you to give your best invite. If I'm a player or I'm a parent right now, why do you want to come play? And I want them to be invited to come play softball at Shawnee High School.
Well, you'll be taking a chance on me like I'm taking a chance here. I'm going to give effort at it. I've been around too many successful programs not to. I don't think I would have been in that position, previously if I hadn't have wanted to win. So we are wanting to win here, and it will happen.
Coach, you got your number one choice
I
right
like
here,
it.
Bryce
Hey,
Clemens.
hey, he was the guy. I told him we should have got started about 5 months ago. We could have been further ahead. We always give each other a little crap on it, but with his family too. I think his roots in Bethel. They just built a brand new house here. His wife's family's from here, so he's got roots here. And I feel like, obviously, with our choice of bringing him in and his choice of bringing us, because he didn't have to come here. But what was my line, Bryce? I started, we need you a lot worse than you need us.
Yeah.
And I was telling him the truth, but I feel like being around him the last month, it's going to be a great fit. He's got some small town attributes that are going to fit into our program. We got some big city stuff, facilities-wise, that's going to attract some girls. And we're looking forward to building this softball program together and having his back this whole time.
Welcome, Coach Clemens.
Thank
the
you.
newest addition
Thank you.
to a great Shawnee tradition and a great Shawnee family of coaches. Great job, Dax.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
So tell them where we're at, because I've messed it up all day.
We're at Hardesty, where the food is great and the people are even better.
Clinic Pharmacy across from the hospital has something for you. Boutique items in Shawnee. All your pharmaceutical needs taken care of at the Clinic Pharmacy.
My name is Greg Rush. I'm the Pottawatomie County District 2 County Commissioner. My biggest influence, my parents. My dad, he instilled the work ethics that I have now, you know. My mother, she made sure we was at church every Sunday morning, you know. Just most recently, the guy that I have starting to admire is Dr. Joe Taryn, for his resiliency to want to work with the county, want to work with people in the county. You can just watch him. He loves what he's doing. My goal in my life was to keep our family business going. My grandparents started in '58. I'm the third generation, and now have my son, my youngest son, working for me, fourth generation. So I hope to see it continue as long as possible. And that's one of my goals, to kind of keep it in the family and keep it going. We have trucks that run up and down all the county roads. We go into 7 different counties. I would like to see the roads get better for the fact that it would help the residents, it would help local businesses. That's kind of one of my big goals, is to try to make the roads better for everyone, not just in a certain area, but for everyone in our county. I love visiting with the people, talking with the people. Even when they come to me and they've got a concern and they're a little bit upset, I still enjoy talking to them. And that's how we learn, you know, from our constituents out there. You know, we can't see the pothole that they see every day, all day, you know. But I love visiting with people. I love dealing with people. I love meeting new people. I wasn't expecting this much when I first come in office, but I really enjoy it.
We are at Hardesty's Market and Deli, where the food is great and the people are even better. Dax, man, I don't know. You bring winners pretty much every time you come.
Well, I think to have a successful athletic program, you got to have successful head coaches. And it's no different than my 23 years coaching college baseball. I always surrounded myself with really good coaches that I felt knew more than me. And I also went around and got the kids that I thought could represent me in our program and our brand. And obviously with Coach Jay and Coach Clemens, I think we obviously hit one out of the park with both of them to go along with already a very strong coaching staff. And so I'm really excited about the future of Shawnee Athletics, and those two, as you can see, that's why we're so excited.
Young, energetic, smart, and obviously they like to work because successful athletes in their own right.
Yeah, and they were both successful athletes, college athletes themselves, and so they got some skin in the game, knowing what that takes. And so, yeah, like when we go out and hire people, we're not just get on the internet or who applies. I mean, we do a lot of research. Julie and I spend a lot of time. I got a brand new truck that I've put about 10,000 miles on, going around to seeing all these people and really spending the time, because our kids deserve the best. And I think that we're absolutely moving in that direction. And, Shawnee has always had that successful stigma. We just have to get the coaches back in here to help lead that.
And from your own standpoint, we mentioned about the impact of the coaches. Again, let's go back to what we talked about just in the opening when we talk about a winner like Coach Keifer, a Hall of Fame baseball coach in the state. He had that impact in your life.
Yeah, and these coaches, as much as any teacher on that campus, these coaches they're teachers, on the field. And just like there's math teachers in the classroom, science teachers in the classroom, and a lot of our athletes will remember these coaches as the best, most important mentor that they've had growing up, and so I feel like putting these kind of people around our kids is what our kids deserve. And like I said, I told Coach Clemens when I hired him, I was like, I'm not just going to give this job to anybody. I am going after the person that makes the most sense for us and who can impact our kids the most. And obviously you just talk to him and see what kind of winner he is in his demeanor and just his professionalism, and that's what our girls deserve. And I think we're gonna surprise some people in softball.
Well, I know when you were on the mound, you were a thoughtful pitcher and a tenacious pitcher, also coming with a lot of power. And as a community member, Dax, I want to thank you for bringing those attributes to the office of athletic director as you have, and you've shown that with the hires that you've been able to make. Thank you very much, Dax Leone. We come to the end of another school year, and man, I can just see us going from different level to different level, and next year I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I can't either. And we forget that we had a tornado that hit. And so we went this whole year without facilities. I was going to say something to Coach Jay. We couldn't practice track for the first part of track season. We were at OBU 2 days a week. Our softball program did not have a field to practice on, to call their own. And so,
and our swimmers didn't have a pool and won a state championship.
So as we build these facilities back with the great job of Dr. Espel and his team, I just feel like the future is extremely bright. We're going to continue to bring great people in here and put our athletes in the best position to have success and in the classroom. And so, yeah, Shawnee is very important to me. It's important to Julia. I've said this a couple times. She probably doesn't get as much airtime as she deserves, but between Julia, myself, Letty, I know Coach Boyer, we have a lot of people that are really pulling on the same rope and really trying to get our athletic brand out in front of people. And if people don't know what we're about, then they need to come over and see us, because Shawnee Athletics is moving forward, and we're gonna win some championships, and we got a good 3 to 5 year run coming, and I can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun. What a privilege it is to do what we do. And thank you all for another great year. Here at Hardesty's, we want to give a shout out to the Oliver brothers, always their crew taking care of us. What a great place it is. Come on in, enjoy lunch, but even better, come on in and shop some of these meats. There's no better meats anywhere around this radius than right here at Hardesty Meats. Dax Leone, thank you very much.
Yep, another school year done, and we'll be looking forward to next year, ready for summer pride to kick off, and what you do in the summer is what makes you in the fall. So we're ready to get going.
And this week, stay tuned for the spring football game. Coach Madonna getting everybody out there, Coach Blitch out there. We'll do our best on that call to try to show you what to anticipate in the fall next year. Powder Puff was a lot of fun. Little Olympics, another successful job over there at Jim Thorpe Stadium. And how cool was that to have Little Olympics back at the stadium?
Unbelievable. Been there 80 plus years and see those kids out there on that turf. I mean, it was, I'll tell you, man, it gave me chills to be out there.
It's a lot of fun. Take a look down in that timeline if you want to get some of those highlights as well. Thank you again from Hardesty's. I'm Daniel Shaughnessy, Coach Dax Leone. Thank you as always. And remember, Shawnee, together, all of us, we build community one season at a time.
Appreciate it, man. Go
It's
Wolves.
a wrap.